Folks, Mississippi has one of the lowest rates in the country approving people to receive welfare. So that's why it's shocking that you would have an official Mississippi who is busted, now pleads guilty in federal court for abusing welfare funds. That took place today, folks, in this growing scandal in the state. John Davis, he directed Mississippi's welfare agency while it spent millions of dollars wasting money on all sort of pet projects investigators say were improper. They included a new volleyball facility for former NFL quarterback Brett Favre, requested that would benefit his daughter at the college she attended. Davis agreed to plead guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud and theft. He's facing up to 15 years in prison. Now, there's been some coverage of this whole issue here with Favre, but here's the real question. Why his ass not in jail? Why hasn't he been indicted? What is going on there in Mississippi? This is the blackest state in the union, the brokest state in the union, and yet they are literally wasting and stealing welfare funds. Now, don't y'all think, we can go back to Ronald Reagan and how he would hold up the welfare queen. Oh, Republicans are real good at castigating folks who take $300 or $400 or $500 or whatever. Remember them complaining about welfare folks buying crab legs and lobster with their WIC money. $77 million we're talking about right here. Now, this guy, again, faces up to 15 years in prison. But it's amazing how silent many of them are. Let's talk about this with our panel. Joining us, of course, every Thursday, Greg Karch, Department of Afro-American Studies at Howard University. Greg, glad to have you on the show. Reese Colbert, Black Women Views. Thanks a bunch. Dr. Nola Haynes, of course, foreign policy expert, national security expert, and she can also talk about HBCU dance teams versus PWIs. Glad to have all three of y'all on the show. Here's the thing that trips me out, Greg, whenever these issues come up. Republicans are so good at fraud and waste and things along those lines. Here you have these Republicans down there in Mississippi wasting money that could have gone to Mississippi Valley State, money that could have gone to any number of HBCUs, money that could have gone to a lot of those majority black cities. But no, they won't do that. Let's just give this rich white guy, Brett Favre, $5 million for his daughter's school for a volleyball court. Money that's supposed to be meant for the poorest of the poor. And let's also be, people don't understand, Mississippi, for every $1 that Mississippi pays in taxes, they get $4 back. So when we talk about Mississippi abusing federal welfare money, that's money from us, taxpayers.
Absolutely. And it's money that it will ultimately someday, maybe someday soon, be returned in some way to some citizens of Mississippi who need it more. We heard Shannon Sharp give hell to Brett Favre and say that if this were a black athlete, what would have happened. But this happened because Mississippi is the blackest state and it's the closed society. These criminals operate with impunity. Now, perhaps, and as you said, this story is unfolding. John Davis, free on bond, apparently made a deal to plead to these counts and to cooperate. So the gunslinger from Green Bay may still see his ass in jail. Our day will come. I have no doubt that this is far from over.
The thing here, Reese, is that the people who need the most, again, Mississippi is the brokest state in the union, and these cats are sitting here just rejecting people left and right because they're playing with the money and giving it to rich folks.
Why not? Who gonna check them? I mean, this is just nothing but a slush fund and a piggy bank for these crooks in Mississippi. And the reason why it's gone on for as long as it has with impunity is because people don't give a damn about poor people. People don't give a damn about the working poor. They don't give a damn about people in poverty, and mostly black people, because it has such a high black population, even though there are a lot of poor whites in Mississippi as well. So, I mean, as long as they do the crime and they do it big enough, because, the DOJ has all the smoke in the world for a 401k for Marilyn Mosby, or a 5-figure thing going on with Andrew Gillum, or with the guy who was up in New York. But when it comes to the white folks, it seems like the bigger the crime, the less the time, the less that they're even going after it. So It's good that this one person is finally, pled guilty, he's facing 15 years, but everybody should have been perp walked by now, including the former governor, Phil Bryant.
And that right there, Nola, is an important point, and that is you've had folks there just getting away with this, and and folks kind of like, it's no big deal. We're talking about federal funds, and when we see a black politician, all of a sudden, when they say, "Oh, God, took a bribe or something," and they got Super Bowl tickets or a trip paid for, I mean, it's all kind of coverage. I mean, we're talking about damn near $100 million here.
Right. So, to your earlier point about the population in Mississippi, the state next to my home state in Louisiana, I'll start by saying I'm angry. And then my second point is, representation does not equal power. And oftentimes we have in southern states where you have majority black bodies, but we do not have the power. As New Orleans is actually going through a recall process right now with our own mayor, representation doesn't always equal power. And in this situation in Mississippi, we're seeing more of the same. We are seeing people who have been historically oppressed and disenfranchised. You add all the things, Mississippi can definitely check all the boxes. And here you have another situation where, this isn't the first time that rich people have stolen from poor people and then put the blame on poor people. But in this instance, there are text messages. I saw the text messages and it was very clear. There is no, there is no blurred lines here. This was intentional. Brett Favre was concerned about being caught and where the money came from. So just that fact alone tells me, that something will be done. And oftentimes, yes, justice does take a long time, especially when you do not have melanin in your skin. And especially when you're talking about a football institution, an icon like Brett Favre, because taking him down, it's not just the fact that he's a rich white man. He's Brett Favre. He's the institution of football, American football as we know it. So a lot of spirits and souls are crushed. Oh, well, I'm sorry. That's how it goes. And this is how it's been going on in America. And frankly, I'm just happy that there are receipts because, this isn't the first time and it probably will not be the last time. And, like I said, representation does not equal power. But in this instance, there are receipts.
Indeed. And so, we'll see where this goes next. But the bottom line, folks, is just understand when you see a story involving a black mayor or someone along those lines, again, juxtapose that coverage compared to the silence from a whole bunch of folks when it comes to this case right here. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
When we invest in ourselves, our glow, our vision, our vibe, we all shine. Together, we are black beyond measure.
Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?